Hello, everybody. This is Coach Allison, and I've got your week 37 Defy Aging workout to review. This week, we are going to be in your own space, so no rotating around the turf. We have 6 exercises, and we're calling it a drop set. This isn't the exact definition of a drop set, but it's close enough. It makes sense for what we're doing. We're going to start with a high number of reps for each exercise, and then each time we start the set over, or the list over again, we drop the number of reps. So for round 1, everything will be 15 reps. For round 2, everything will be 12 reps. We go down to 10 reps, 8, and 5. Yes, 15, 12, 10, 8, 5. And it's okay if you don't get through all of it. We're going to set a clock for 25 minutes. And you just keep doing the routine until the 25 minutes is up. If you do get done, with all, the 15 down through the 5 rep count for all the 6 exercises, you can start to go back up. Okay. But anyways, 6 exercises. Let's do some demos. Okay, so exercise 1, again, it's in your own space. We won't be rotating around. It's a balance and some arms. So we're gonna do a single leg balance with a bicep curl. So you have the weight in one hand. You're gonna be balancing on the opposite leg. And you can, if you want to do a hammer curl like this, feel free to keep the palm turned in. If you prefer to rotate the palm up like that, you can choose. And if you want to or need to be near something to have a little balance assistance, that's okay. But I definitely recommend using it as minimally as you can. Like put a fingertip or 2 on the wall or the rack instead of, a whole hand or grabbing the rack completely. Because then you're on one leg, so you're helping to strengthen that leg. But we're not getting a ton of practice improving the balance. So just use a little assistance. It's amazing. Sometimes it's more of a mental thing. Just putting a fingertip like on the wall can kind of help. So again, round 1 is 15. So you'll be 15 on one side, then change the weight. And of course, change, your leg as well. And that is exercise 1. All right, number 2 is Superman. I think most of us know this one. So you'll be lying on your stomach on the floor. Legs out, arms out, keep your neck neutral. By that, I mean, you want to keep your nose aiming towards the floor like this instead of cranking your neck and looking forward like this. From here, we lift as much of the torso as possible, and we also lift the legs without bending the knees, so we're not doing this with the knees. Keep your arms pretty straight. They'll have a slight bend in them, of course, but we don't want to bend them all the way back here if you can. The straighter they are, the more rear delt you're going to feel. So, and again, you're trying to get as much of your torso off the floor as you can. So for anybody staying off the floor, since there's no interval times, so we don't have to worry about getting somewhere and getting back in like 20 or 30 seconds, I'm going to recommend anyone not getting on the floor do a lower back extension. So you'll have to walk into the weight room area for that piece of equipment, and the coaches can show you how to use it, or the coaches might be able to bring that over to the turf space depending on your gym's layout and all of that. That's a great alternative because it's very, very similar movement. You're just you have a piece of equipment to hold you up and you don't have to get down on the floor. So that'd be my recommendation for any alternatives. Also, people will be at different exercises at different times, so if multiple people need to use that piece of equipment, it should work out pretty fine. So that's going to be my recommendation for an alternative. Either way, that is our Superman, kind of our low and mid back exercise. All right, next we have some sumo squats, and we're going to do a goblet style. However, this week we're going to hold a dumbbell instead of a kettlebell, and really that's just for the variety. Weight is weight, whether you have a 15-pound dumbbell or a 15-pound kettlebell. But for the variety, to hold goblet style with a dumbbell, you do this. You place the top part of the bell on the base of your palms, and the fingers can kind of just hold it in place, grab hold like this. So it's very similar, right? And sumo squat. So we are doing the wide squat with the toes angled slightly outward, and make sure those knees at the bottom of the squat track directly on top of your ankles, as opposed to kind of letting them cave in like that. So you do have to use these inner thigh kind of adductor and abductor muscles to keep those knees out. But yeah, give that a try with the weight like this. If it's horribly uncomfortable, or you just really don't like the feel of the dumbbell, definitely use a kettlebell instead. But let's give the dumbbell a try this week for the variety. All right, next one is a high plank with some shoulder taps, and the count for this will be the individual reps on each side. So for like the 15, doesn't matter, for all of them, you'll count 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on. So each side individually for the reps, but the high plank shoulder tap is like this. We're in our high plank, like push-up starting position. And I recommend putting your feet really wide for this particular variety of a plank, because when you lift one hand off, one of the goals is to try not to tilt and turn and twist. If your feet are a little wider for like a wider base, it makes it easier to stay more level without doing that hip rotation. So my feet, I'm going to put really wide like this. Again, if I put them close together, then as I lift one hand, I have to kind of turn my body to balance. You don't have to do that as much with the wide stance. So 1, 1, 2, 2, and so on. You can definitely put knees down and do a knee version. Just make sure if you put knees down, we aren't in just a tabletop like this. So you still want that plank diagonal position with your upper body. So you want a straight line from your head to your knees if you're going to do the knee version. Okay. And incline is always an option, of course. So grab your bench or your box. Again, want that nice diagonal line, so we don't want hips up like this, and do your shoulder taps like that. So all sorts of options, something for everybody. That'll be our main core focus. You also get a good amount of chest and shoulders with that too. All right, next station, we kind of started activating the chest with that high plank. Then we will keep it going with a single arm chest press. All right, so lying on the floor now on your back, we only need one dumbbell for this because we're doing one arm at a time. So keep going on that one side for all of your reps. And of course, carefully watch out switching sides, don't drop it on your stomach or on your chest. And then we do the reps on the other side. I would definitely recommend bending the knees. That gives your avoids, like if your legs are straight, we tend to kind of stick out the chest, maybe overly arch the low back. So bending the knees gives you much more back support. And with your arm placement, pretend I have the weight in this side. Want to make sure that the arm isn't straight out to the side, but you can put it straight out to the side first if that helps, and then kind of dip it down at a little bit, a subtle or a slight downward angle. So keep that in mind. Having it straight out to the side is then too tempting to shrug the shoulder. So, and anybody not doing our 4 things, we have incline benches. You can, the coach can wheel an incline bench over to the space that can be shared, or you can run over to the weight room area when it's time for your chest presses and just do them over there. Or there's lots of options. We can do a band, hook up a resistance band to a rack behind you and do a single arm chest press this way. Or if you have a cable machine in your space, so that would be like one of those, you can select a weight with the cable and do that exact same thing with a single handle attachment, each side individually like this. So it mimics the chest press exactly. You're just staying up off the floor. So lots of options for alternatives once again for this one, but that is going to be our main chest pec focus exercise for the week. Then to round out that lovely list of 6 things, we have jump squats. So they are challenging, but the good thing about them is they go fast. So it's kind of unpleasant, but it goes quickly. So, you can handle it. You got it. Jump squats, normal squat position. So we're not doing like we did sumos earlier, nothing wide, not narrow, just whatever your normal hip width stance would be for a traditional squat. So we all know squats, right? Make sure we are doing that proper squat form. But the goal is to jump in the air at the top, get a little bit, it doesn't have to be too high. Just try to get a sliver of air between your feet and the floor, and that's just fine. And the goal here, though, is to keep them continual like this, whereas we're not stopping, then going down, stop, going down. Because that puts a lot of like impact and kind of jarring on your knees and your joints. So we want to keep them smooth, and it disengages the muscles, which kind of feels nice for us, but we actually want them to stay engaged for more effectiveness. So we don't want that break in there, that gap. So keep them continual. The legs, the thighs will start to get that burn feeling at around probably 7, 8, or 9. Okay, that's good. That's supposed to happen. It'll be aerobic as well. Want to make sure though, sometimes when we're keeping them continual, like I said, we can forget to do a squat and we can start to just kind of lean down and jump up like this, and that's a no-no. We don't want to do that for lots of reasons. First, it's not a squat, but for safety wise, it's too much on the back. We don't want to be whipping the back up and down like that, the low back, and it might cause the head to get below the heart and do too much of that head. Head below the heart isn't great for, that was level, but blood pressure. So we want to avoid that too. So just make sure we are keeping that chest up, head up, and getting that knee bend, and we're not kind of slowly starting to turn it into this. Because that can happen kind of sneakily. We don't even really realize it. All right. Anyone not doing impact? Now, it's hard for everybody. So I want to iterate. Do them if you physically can. Tough through the uncomfortable feeling of them. But however, if you cannot do impact because of any restriction, which, is fine. We all have stuff, right? Turn into a fast squat. So you are taking out the jump, but you're adding some speed. That'll get the cardio, it'll kind of mimic the cardio effect. The only thing we're taking out is jumps. So fast squat instead of jumps if needed, but this will be our main cardio for the circuit. Okay, so the team builder. Should be enough room for everyone to be on the turf. You might have to go like lengthwise because we're going to line up. So like you're next to me and then someone would be to my other side. So we're lining up with a lot of turf space in front of us. We're doing a tandem walk. So that's walking heel to toe with red light, green light. So your coach gets to call out red light, green light. You will be doing the tandem walk, which is walking heel to toe. Okay. Your coach will call out red light and you'll stop wherever you are. You might have, like right now, I had just my toe still on the ground because I was about to take a step. You might be mid-step like this, and then you have to balance. You might be both feet on the floor. Fine, great. It's still hard to balance even in tandem because your feet are they're in a straight line. So it's even hard to balance with both of your feet on the floor. So no matter where the red light happens, it's going to be a challenge. And your coach gets to have a little bit of fun with you guys and decide how long the red light's going to last. It might be red light, green light really quick. Or it might be, red light, and your coach is going to maybe have you hold it there for 5 or 10 seconds before you hear the green light again. Anyways, it's super, super fun. It's also, so not just the physicality of it, the balance, the heel to toe walk, all that. It's working on like reaction time and listening to cues and how quickly we can react to that. So it's got a lot of benefits and it's super, super fun. Have fun with it. Don't overthink it. If you stumble, that's okay. That's fine. That's part of the fun. We're going to do that for 60 seconds. However many times down and back the turf, when you get to the end, just turn around and keep going the other way. Anyway, let's give that a try. Red light, green light with tandem walk. And last thing I will remind you, with the tandem walk, you do want to touch the heel to the toe. Like literally get it that close, where you want to avoid this and leaving like a few inches between the heel and the toe. So actually bring your heel to touch the toes of the foot behind it. And do your best to keep them in line. That's where the challenge of the balance comes in, because if we kind of keep it like this, we have that little bit of a more natural foot placement. But if we really get that straight line, that true tandem, it's more challenging. All right, red light, green light, let's give it a try. Okay, that wraps up the week. So we have our in your own space with the drop set and our red light, green light. So I hope you enjoy that. See you back in week 38.